I, 30, female, met my ex-husband 10 years ago. We met at a mutual friend's wedding. We were both part of the bridal party. I was a bridesmaid and he was a groomsman. We were paired up to walk down the aisle together and we hit it off right away. We had a lot of chemistry and I remember that we danced all night. By the end of the night, we exchanged phone numbers and agreed to see each other again. By our next meeting, we started dating and fell in love quickly. We had a lot in common and enjoyed spending time together. We moved in together after 6 months and then got engaged after a year. He was an amazing boyfriend while we were dating. He was charming, attentive, generous, and funny. He made me feel special and loved. He proposed to me on our third anniversary in front of the Eiffel Tower with a beautiful ring and a bouquet of roses. It was the most romantic moment of my life, and I said yes without hesitation. After the engagement, we had a beautiful wedding surrounded by our family and friends. We went on a dream honeymoon, traveling to exotic places. Then we came back home and started their married life full of hope and happiness. I honestly believed that we would make the perfect couple. But after marriage, our relationship went to hell. The transition I saw in my husband was mind-numbing. He changed from a loving partner to a cold and distant stranger. He started working late, going on frequent business trips, spending more time with his friends and less time with me. He stopped complimenting me and was very hesitant to kiss me. We rarely had any romantic moments. He became irritable, impatient, and secretive. Whenever I complained, he always had an excuse for everything and he never apologized for anything. I tried to talk to him to understand what was going on. I badly wanted to save our marriage, but he always shut me down, saying that I was being paranoid, needy, and clingy. He said that I was suffocating him. Once, he crossed the line and even called me boring to my face. Whenever I asked him whether he loved me anymore, he always evaded the question. My husband's behavior took a toll on my mental health. I started to become paranoid whenever he was late, and I would check for signs of him cheating. I couldn't focus on anything as I never stopped thinking about my marriage. None of my friends believed me at first when I told them the situation I was going through. They had all seen the romantic side of my husband, and at some point, they were all jealous of my romantic life. After some time, I was heartbroken, confused, and angry. I found evidence of him cheating on me. He would buy expensive jewelry, but never give them to me. Often during his business trips, he would dine in expensive restaurants, and the bill would always be for two people. I couldn't find any trace of my boyfriend in my husband, though they were the same person. I felt like I had married a stranger, a liar, a cheater, because that's what he was. Then I snooped on his phone and caught him cheating on me multiple times with different women. Some of them were younger than me, some of them were older than me, some of them were his co-workers, and a couple of them were his friends' wives. But the most shocking one was his texts with my youngest sister. Though I didn't get any solid evidence that he had cheated on me with my sister, the tone of their text conversation was creepy. He didn't even try to hide his cheating after a point. He didn't care about hurting me or disrespecting me or honoring our vows. So, 2 years back, I mustered up the courage to face life alone and divorced him. It was the hardest decision of my life, but also the best one. I realized that I deserved better than him, that I deserved to be happy and free. He was no longer the man I fell in love with or the man I got married to, which meant that he was not the man for me. Being in a toxic relationship takes a toll on you as it's very difficult to come out of it. After filing for divorce, I moved out of our house and cut all contact with my ex-husband. I changed my number and blocked him on social media. I cut him out of my life completely and never looked back. After a long time, I focused on myself, my career, my hobbies, and my friends. I started therapy, yoga, and meditation. I have always had a love for traveling. So during the last couple of years, I traveled as much as I could, learned new skills, and met new people. I rediscovered myself, healed myself and started to love myself. Now I'm happier than ever. But even after I removed my toxic ex-husband from my life, one person was trying to sabotage my life. That was my younger sister, with whom I suspected my ex-husband had an illicit affair. Growing up, I always had a difficult relationship with my sister, 28, female. She was jealous of me throughout her life. She was younger than me by just 2 years, but she always acted like a toddler. She was spoiled, selfish, immature, and insecure. She always wanted what I had, and she had always tried to take it from me. While we were younger and lived together, she would steal my clothes, my toys, my books. At school, she always tried to infiltrate my friend group and steal my friends. She would lie to me, our parents, and our teachers. She would always blame me for her mistakes and her problems. I rarely reacted when she bullied me or mocked me. I was a very shy kid and would always cry whenever she attacked me. Crying was my only defense. This was not just a simple sibling rivalry because I knew that she held some sort of hatred towards me. She never supported me while I was struggling or never praised me when I achieved something. The hostile situation with my sister escalated when I met my ex-husband. When she got to know that someone was romantically involved with me, she became my worst enemy. She hated him while we were dating. The hate was not because he was bad for me, but because he was too good for me. She hated that he made me happy and confident. She hated that he chose me and married me while she was single. She felt insecure about the fact that she was single while I was dating. Her solution to this insecurity was to steal my ex-husband away. Even while we were dating, I had seen my sister trying to flirt with my ex-husband, but he never reciprocated. She desperately tried to ruin our relationship, to break us apart, and to make us fight. She tried to make him cheat on me with her, but he never did it while we were dating. He never fell for her tricks and always turned down her advances. He was loyal, faithful, and devoted to me. But all that changed after marriage. My sister started to look down upon me when she discovered that my marriage was in my ruins. To add salt to the wound, when I got divorced from my ex-husband, my sister announced to our family that she was dating him. We advised her not to do it because by now we knew how evil he was. But she did not listen to us. I understood that she was not doing it out of love for my ex-husband. She got some sense of gratification from the fact that my ex-husband ended his marriage and then started to date her. When she saw that none of our family members supported her decision, she cut contact with us for more than a year. She chose him over us. After a while, I started to focus on myself and didn't let myself think about her. Last night, I was hosting a barbecue night for our family. My parents, my brother, my cousins, my aunt, my uncle were all there. We were having a happy family time as we hadn't gotten together in a long while. But to everyone's surprise, my sister showed up while we were in the middle of our party. My first assumption was that one of my family members had invited her to solve the differences between us. But the rest of our family was as surprised as me. What's even more surprising was the baby bump on my sister. She was pregnant. I thought she would be happy and cheerful the next time I met her, but she was pale, thin, tired, and scared. I invited her in and gave her a place to rest without asking any questions. She was on the verge of tears when she told me how my ex-husband had cheated on her and kicked her out of his house. I felt very bad for her, but upon listening to her story, the whole family laughed at her. I requested them to stop and took her to another room. While she was there, she told me that my ex-husband had been abusive to her physically, emotionally, and verbally. He had insulted her and humiliated her, but when it reached a point where she thought that he might hit her, she left his house. She admitted that she cut contact with us upon his advice, but his real intention was to isolate her from the rest of her family. He continued cheating on her and kicked her out of the house to live with his mistress. She said that she had nowhere to go, no one to help her, no money to survive. She said that she was sorry, that she was wrong, that she needed me. I wanted to let her live at my place, but my parents were adamant that she should leave. They were scared that she might hurt me again. But I didn't listen to my parents and let my sister stay with me. Am I the a-hole for not taking my parents' advice and letting my toxic sister into my home? Update 1. I already knew what it meant for someone to walk away from a toxic relationship. Above all that, my sister was pregnant, so it was necessary to keep her physical and mental health in check. So the first thing I did was take her to a doctor. Then I took her to a therapist and she had her first session. Throughout this, she had been apologizing and crying to me. I think I had forgiven her long ago, so I told her that. But I feel like no other woman should go through our situation. So my next plan is to teach my ex-husband a lesson. Update 2. My ex-husband's parents are filthy rich. They are one of the kindest people I know as well. When we divorced, they continued to keep in touch with me to help me with my grieving period. My ex-husband had asked me not to reveal his cheating saga with his family, as that would destroy his chances of getting his inheritance. His parents were very religious and considered marriage as a sacred bond made in heaven, so I took my sister with me to their home and narrated everything that happened to both of us while we were with their son. His mother was sobbing by the end of our conversation, and his father was at a loss for words. He saw that my sister was pregnant and offered all his financial assistance in raising the child. My ex-husband later had a verbal spat with my sister over the phone, and we got to know that his parents had cut all contact with him. Update 3. As a next step, we decided to move legally against him and accuse him of domestic violence. My sister had enough evidence with her, and our family decided to stay by her to move forward with the case. I decided to provide shelter for my sister and help her find a job. We are both ready to welcome her baby to the world and planning to raise the kid together. YTA, you should have listened to your parents before letting a toxic person into your life. They had seen the struggle you were going through. You should have taken their advice. NTA, both you and your sister were victims of a very misogynistic partner. You have undergone similar trauma, so it will be easy for you to support each other. Next story. I and two of my best friends are supposedly going to our girls' trip in another 3 months. One of my girlfriends, Sarah, is going to get married this year, so we thought it was going to be a nice and cute girls' trip. Only 3 of us. Another one is Tammy. They mean a lot to me, and we have been besties since we were kids in primary schools, and now we're already 24. So we planned this trip because Sarah is going to get married by the end of this year, and it's unlikely for her to travel alone after getting married because of a cultural thing. We've been planning for this Hawaii trip for months, and suddenly this morning they told me in the group chat that her fiance and Tammy's boyfriend are going to come along. Here before, we have traveled for short trips before, and honestly, I don't really vibe with her fiance. Not because he's mean or abusive, but it's just I could never be myself when we're hanging out if there's her fiance there. I never expressed my dislike to her fiance because obviously Sarah is my best friend and I love her as long as he treats her well. But she told me on the group chat that her fiance is going to tag along, as well as Tammy's boyfriend too. I'm single and I don't mind third wheeling, honestly. It is just that I feel like it's not what I signed up for. So after a while of thinking, I decided to just not go, even after I had bought the ticket, which was around $1,000 and non-refundable. I typed a long essay. I said they will have to go because this trip would be Sarah's fiance's first long travel trip, and they're not going to go on honeymoon too. So this is possibly like their honeymoon prude photo shoot trip too. But they think I'm selfish for not tagging along, and they really want me to come because the girls' trip will still be girls' trip as long as the 3 of us are there. I explained to them how it is actually not cool to change plans, but I completely understand because she really wants to go there with her man because it's a long travel trip too. So she doesn't want to waste it only for the girls' trip. But I think my feelings are valid too, apart from the fact I don't really like her fiance. It's just not right to change the plans, but guilt trips me and expecting me to give in and adjust to the plans. I tried to explain nicely, but Sarah said something like, "You don't understand how hard it is for us to be the middle person." From the texts, I think they expected me to just go along with the trip and say nothing, but honestly, I do not want it. I really would love to go back there, especially with my girls. But you can't tell me the vibes and dynamics would still be the same with their partners coming along. I don't think that you're at fault here at all. You are entitled to all your feelings. Your friends, though, whilst it is not an a-hole move to want their partners, it was an a-hole move to just do it without talking to you. If it was me and my single friend was thinking we were doing the last big hurrah trip as girls, and I wanted to bring my partner, as did the other girls, I would have the common decency to speak to her and get her feelings and let her know that she has a voice and a chance to say no. In that, your friends are massive a-holes. They made a decision and you are expected to tag along all because they wanted it and have the audacity to gaslight you. Sorry, but your pals are a-holes, and even more so because they're still trying to pretend they're not. Totally NTA for you. Think you need to start to explore other friendships because they are clearly not in the same place you are. Hope you are able to stand your ground and not be guilted into a crappy holiday to placate people who wouldn't do it for you. NTA, this isn't a girls' trip anymore. It's a couples trip with an uncomfortable fifth wheel who doesn't want to go. Don't go if you don't want to go, and don't let anybody try to convince you that you would be the one hurting the friendships by declining to attend. A real friend would be disappointed, but would never call you selfish for doing so. NTA, personally, my rule is if I sign up for a girl trip, that is what I am doing. If anyone brings their man, I'm not going. People need to remember their significant other is their favorite person and not mine. I'm not spending my money to spend time with someone I don't care about, and neither should you. Shaming you is stupid. They ruined the vibe and are now mad at you for it. Foolishness. Next story. My youngest daughter, Vivian, tells me that she hates school. Vivian doesn't have any issues with bullies and enjoys socializing with people, but she hates waking up at 7:15. She hates listening to lectures in class, and she hates studying and homework, even for a subject that she's interested in. And there's frankly nothing wrong with that. She doesn't need to be a perfect student who loves school and homework. The point I'm trying to emphasize is that Vivian does not like school. So I was surprised when she came to me explaining that she wanted to apply to a private college. Vivian told me that she wants to attend this particular college because her friend will be going there on a scholarship. The college is also located near a major city where some of Vivian's other friends will be attending a different college, but will still be in the area. I looked into the cost of this private college. The tuition is fairly affordable, but the catch is that students are required to live on campus for all 4 years, and the dorm costs are through the roof. I explained to Vivian that I will pay off all of her student debt if she goes to a community college first and then earns the grades to transfer to the private college or any other of the colleges if she is no longer interested in the private college. But then I am not going to spend thousands of dollars when she's shown me thus far that she isn't emotionally committed to her studies and won't treat her education seriously. Vivian and multiple others have told me that I am being unfair with the community college offer because even though the cost of the private college is steep, I'm still able to afford it. And I offered to and paid for her siblings to go straight to 4-year colleges. I will pay for whatever college Vivian wants to attend if she agrees to attend community college and earn the grades to transfer. Her sister chose to take this route. And she said it was very beneficial in helping her transition from high school to a major college. But Vivian tells me that she hates school, studying, and lectures, even if she's interested in the subject. College is school and includes all the things she hates about school. Vivian still has the option to prove she is emotionally ready for college by attending community college and earning the grades to transfer out. But I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars unless Vivian demonstrates that she is emotionally committed to her studies and will take her education seriously. AITA for this? NTA, you want your daughter to prove she's ready for college, and you don't want to waste over tens of thousands or close to 100,000, depending on the classes, if she ends up hating school and flunking out. It's a reasonable thing to ask. I'm putting myself through community college right now, and I'm most likely taking a break from going to associate to bachelor's degree, but I'm working hard to get there. This might be best for her, considering if she said she doesn't like college, then it saves you a lot of money. NTA at all. Has she even applied to this college? What are the chances of her getting in? They may waitlist her because of her grades, and she might not have any choice but to go to a community college first. This is what happened to our son. He only wanted to go to one college and they rejected him because of his grades. He was devastated, but he knew that going to a community college was going to help in the long run. It got him used to getting up early, listening to lectures, actually studying, and helping him grow up some. And yes, we paid for his education and are still paying for him to get his master's right now. Let her apply and see if she can even get in. The college may make the decision for you. Good luck. NTA, she's going to waste her time and your money if she already hates school. Also, she realizes that she can be kicked out of a private college for not doing work and going to class, right? They have people that actually want to be there and earn a degree. They don't have room for people who just want to be near their friends but no actually going to college. Stay tuned for more stories from Argo Relationships.